So, but listening and consulting communities across the country also ensured this policy would be shaped by Kenyans for all of Kenya. We hope this collaborative spirit energizes all of us as we take our next steps. Soon, we will have to engage our East African countries, or rather the community, our neighbors, to inspire them to follow Kenya's lead. Indeed, regional cooperation will be essential for alcohol policy to have the greatest impact on our collective and individual health. I also want to acknowledge all other partners of the Reset Alcohol Initiative in Kenya and beyond. Thank you once again. Congratulations to all.
Okay, again we applause her in a better way. Moja, mbili, tatu. Asante Madam Moria. Ladies and gentlemen, now we want to move to the next phase of these engagements, where I want to welcome back our CEO, Dr. Meriko, to lead the next phase of the program. Karibu Daktari.
Thank you, Bura. Makofi pia ya kanu for Bura. Moja, mbili, tatu. Thank you very much. Now it's my humble duty to invite my chairman, Reverend Dr. Mairori, to give us his opening remarks.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I think our MC needs to be upgraded from the Kano era. And he's done a good job. Thank you. And thank you, CEO and everybody. Waziri, we are so grateful that you are with us this morning. You've led us so well as a ministry, and particularly at Nakada, we are indeed very, very grateful. And we have, what we are launching today is something you personally took and made sure that it goes through cabinet. We are very grateful for that. So before I give my speech, let me, there are people that Waziri have appointed to see that this work works well. The board members, let them come so that they can greet, at least they be known. Karibuni board members, Nakada board members to come and join us here. Do we have a mic? If not, you'll be saying your name as you exit. And we, all right, we are right there. Just spread. All right, I think the vice chair will be the last. Let's begin on the other side. All right.
Good morning. My name is Ali Swale, board member. Asante.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Victor Adido, board member Nakada, and also the chief commissioner Kenya Scouts. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kenneth Korir. I'm the alternate director and a board member at the Nakada representing the PS National Treasury. Thank you.
I'm Reverend Goge, Nakada director. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Mercy Karanja. I represent the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Honorable Elijah Lagat, Director Nakada.
CS Interior, sir, and all invited guests. Good morning. I'm Samuel Laboso, alternate director to our Inspector General. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Angeli Mathu. I'm the Vice Chair, Nakada Board of Directors. I'm also a recovering alcoholic, a proud recovering alcoholic. I'll be celebrating 21 years of my sobriety next month. And I believe we have walevi wengi sana hapa, walevi soba, mikono juu. Those who are sober, walevi wale wako sober. So, CS, we are quite a number who are sober, so rehabilitation works. Some people say that it does not work, but truly with the treatment facilities with proper structured programs, which are actually accredited by Nakada, they do work. And as we launched the other time, the community-based rehabilitation program, I believe will go a long way in helping our young people. Asanteni sana, thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Anthony Merikwa. I'm a board member and a secretary to the board. Thank you.
Let's appreciate our board members. Thank you. So our CS and guests, all guests that have come, today marks a truly momentous occasion in the history of our beloved nation. We stand here united to witness the launch of the national policy on prevention, management and control of alcohol, drugs and substance use abuse in Kenya. This is not just a document. It is a profound declaration of our collective resolve to confront with unwavering determination one of the most insidious threats to our societal fabric, our economic prosperity, and the very future of our children. For too long, the shadows of alcohol, drug, and substance abuse have cast a long and dark wall over our communities. We have seen firsthand the devastating consequences: shattered families, lost livelihoods, compromised health, rising crime, and stolen youth. The statistics, grim as they are, tell only part of the story. The true cost is measured in the silent suffering, the unfulfilled dreams, and the erosion of hope. As the chairman of NACADA board, I stand before you today filled with hope. This is because the policy we are launching today possesses a robust, comprehensive, and scientifically informed roadmap to navigate the challenge of alcohol and drug abuse. Ladies and gentlemen, the policy is a culmination of extensive consultation, rigorous research, and dedicated collaboration among countless stakeholders. It embodies the voices of our communities, the insights of our experts, and the commitment of our government. It represents a paradigm shift from the fragmented interventions to a holistic, multi-sectoral, and balanced approach. First, it places prevention and demand reduction at the very core of our strategy. We recognize the place of prevention, which is better than cure. The policy champions intensified public education and awareness campaigns tailored to reach every corner of our nation, from the bustling cities to the remotest villages. We will empower our children and youth with the knowledge and resilience to resist peer pressure and make informed choices. We will work tirelessly to address the socio-economic vulnerabilities that often push individuals towards substance abuse. Secondly, it reinforces our commitment to strengthening law enforcement and supply suppression. Illicit drugs and unregulated alcohol are poisons that must be eradicated from our society. This policy provides a clear framework for interagency coordination, intelligence sharing, and stricter enforcement of existing laws to dismantle the networks of producers, traffickers, and peddlers who profit from human suffering. We are sending a clear message. There will be no sanctuary for those who endanger our people. Third, this policy elevates the importance of treatment, rehabilitation, and social reintegration. We understand that addiction is a disease, and those afflicted deserve compassion, professional care, and a pathway to recovery. The policy outlines strategies to expand access to quality treatment services, establish more rehabilitation centers, and ensure robust aftercare support to help individuals successfully reintegrate into their families and communities. Our goal is not just to treat, but to restore dignity and purpose. Further, this policy emphasizes research, monitoring, and evaluation. We are committed to an evidence-based approach. NACADA will continue to serve as the center of repository for data, conducting and commissioning research for better understanding emerging trends, measure the effectiveness of our interventions, and adapt our strategies accordingly. This will ensure that our efforts are always agile, effective, and responsive to the evolving landscape of substance abuse. Ladies and gentlemen, to achieve the ambitious goals set forth in the policy, collaboration will be our cornerstone. This is not a task for NACADA alone, nor for any single ministry. It requires the active participation of all government MDS, county governments, the private sector, civil society, faith-based institutions, and most importantly, every Kenyan household. Each one of us has a role to play in building a drug-free society. As we launch this policy, I urge everyone present, and indeed all Kenyans, to embrace its tenets and become active champions in this vital campaign. Let us leverage the power of our communities, our cultural values, and our collective will to protect our present and secure future. On behalf of NACADA Board of Directors and the entire team, I extend my deepest gratitude to His Excellency the President, Honorable William Samoei Ruto, for his unwavering support for the prioritizing this critical national agenda. We are immensely grateful for the trust placed on us. Much appreciation to our chief guest and the cabinet secretary for pushing this document particularly and leading us. Today, we take a monumental step forward. Let this policy be a living document, a guiding light that illuminates our path towards a healthier, safer, and more prosperous Kenya. Let us work together hand in hand to free our nation from the chains of substance abuse and unleash the full potential for every Kenyan. Asanteni sana. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now and you've helped us lead the fight so well. So as NACADA, we are very proud of you. And I'm sure every family in Kenya that is suffering when they see you seated here from alcohol and drug abuse challenges, they have a lot of hope and they are very grateful. So it's my joy now that we welcome, let's all stand and appreciate our CS as he comes to speak to us.
Please be seated. Asante. The chairman of NACADA and the NACADA board, the CEO, the various CEOs representing different agencies present, the civil society organizations present, including the church, youth organizations, young people present, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning once again. I listened to the vice chair of NACADA, Madam Ann Mathu, and I didn't know you were the vice chair until I learned later you were the vice chair. But I've listened to your videos many times online, your stories in Thika and other places. And I can't just imagine how powerful a testimony can do to families and help families. And I think we need many people who can speak like you do, because there is no single family here. There's no single family. I've done my own statistics. I may be wrong, but there's no single family that they don't struggle with a relative, a close relative that is suffering as a result of alcohol and drug abuse. So thank you very much for sharing that. And we need more people like you to speak out on this very important issue. And maybe I'm even jumping my speech, but it's important for people to appreciate that rehabilitation works, and rehabilitation is important, and rehabilitation run by government is even more important, because the incentive is not profit and there's no money. So it's not about making money, it's about just saving lives. Drugs and substance abuse and illicit trafficking fuel crime, compromise public health, undermine the potential of our youth, destabilize families, and erode the very fabric of our communities. The pervasive nature of this challenge demands a robust, coordinated, and a resolute response. That is why I'm delighted to stand before you today as we launch the first ever national policy on the prevention, management, and control of alcohol, drugs, and substance abuse in Kenya. This is not a mere policy document. It's a renewed commitment by the government of Kenya to secure the health, safety, and future of every citizen, particularly our vibrant youth. The policy reflects the vision of His Excellency the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, for a secure, health, and prosperous Kenya. I must say this is not just because I'm a cabinet secretary. I must say that the President takes this issue very serious. Maybe because he's a teetotaler, but he takes it very, very seriously. And in every instance, he actually takes, I am sure there are so many public officials who used to take alcohol before in previous governments, and they are struggling to survive because they are now serving in government. Thanks to the President's very strict, let me just say that we sometimes go for outing, retreats and so forth, and the President is involved, or a foreign trip. And because the President is there, everybody is hiding when they're trying to take a glass or two. Anyway, I should not be saying this. At the onset, may I take this opportunity to congratulate, you know, when I say this, I remember what I said about Busa in Kitale, and I see how it's trending. And I don't take Busa, I need to emphasize that. At the onset, may I take this opportunity to congratulate the National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse, that is NACADA, and partners for the excellent work for preparing this document through a multi-sectoral approach, bringing on board all stakeholders, and in this case, critical stakeholders. Special appreciation to the Institute of Legislative Affairs. I'm told now nowadays it's international, and vital for resourcing the project. Mr. Chair, I was a founding member of Institute of Legislative Affairs. So myself, I see Rachel for the first time in almost 20 years. He's here. Kiraku is here. And Mario was there with the PS defense. And so I think I ran away very fast. Yeah. I think it's something we started somewhere in Ufungamano. And I thought we had just left campus, members of the Christian Union, under focus. Kiraku was a very serious person those days in focus. I'm not saying he's not serious now. And Rachel had just left campus. And one of the best documents they participated in providing is the tobacco control. That was big, that was huge those days. Now it has grown, it's a very big tree. I'm told it's international. I suspect because Rachel went international, so it became international. And so together with Vital and others, I really want to appreciate you. And thank you very much for growing this institution to a stage where it has become provided a shade for others, and did this wonderful job together with other stakeholders, civil society, including Vital. Indeed, the role of stakeholders in the fight against the alcohol and drug abuse is critical. This is not a one-man show, nor a one-institution job. It needs all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, our job at the Ministry of Interior and National Administration is to maintain, let me say this, before I say this, first of all, I'm taking credit for work that was done largely by the Deputy President. Yeah, so mine was to come and push from where he left when he was the cabinet secretary here. So whereas I have been appreciated, it is on behalf of government. He always jokes, because I was also in another ministry and I see some of my projects when they are launched. So the deputy president always jokes with me that traditionally, the person, if you are a herder, the guy who was in the field when the cow gave birth is the one who takes credit. And since all of us work for government and work for His Excellency the President, it is easier to say all credit goes to his government. Then the rest of us rotate around, so that when I see something in roads that has succeeded and I did a lot of work, I must say it was not mine, it's for the government, for the president. So our job at the Ministry of Interior, National Administration, is to maintain law and order, ensuring national security and fostering a peaceful environment for all Kenyans and our visitors. Alcohol, drugs and substance abuse directly undermine our core mandate. As the Cabinet Secretary responsible for internal security, I affirm that our ministry will play a central and unwavering role in implementation of this policy. Over the last few months, I have engaged the local leaders, security agencies, and members of the public in consultative forums dubbed Jukwaa la Usalama across the length and the breadth of our nation. In each of the 22 counties so far visited, alcohol and drug abuse were identified as a major problem, not just in terms of lives, but also as a driver, one of the drivers in the high rate of crime in various parts of our country. We must do everything to combat this menace. Our focus, therefore, will be multi-pronged and decisive. First, on the law enforcement and supply reduction, illicit trafficking, manufacturing and sale of drugs and unregulated alcohol will be met with the full force of the law. This policy empowers us to intensify our operations against the drug cartels, illicit brewers and peddlers who prey on the vulnerability of our people, especially our young children. The National Police Service, in close collaboration with specialized units and intelligence agencies, will enhance surveillance, dismantle supply networks, and ensure that those who profit from this menace are brought to justice. We will streamline interagency coordination, making it easy to share intelligence and conduct joint operations across all relevant government departments. There will be no safe haven for criminals engaged in this destructive act. When I say it sounds like a cliche because, this has been said by governments. But the experience we got from the Jukwaa la Usalama is such that we have decided that instead of the lofty statements and conferences and workshops and big officers at the national level, we take the problem to the lowest unit possible. And I have told the chiefs and the OCSs that wherever there is no alcohol or drugs that are sold in Kenya without the support and the knowledge of the chief and the OCS. This rest of the stories about IG, the minister, the CEO, and so forth, it ends at the very lowest unit, the chief and the OCS. And when I say that, the chiefs also said, it is true that we try to do some enforcement work, but if you don't get the support of the OCS, there's nowhere you can go. So finally, it's actually us within the National Police Service. Enforcement is the most important thing at the lowest unit. And I am happy that in many of the places we have visited, when we went to Coast, when we went to Northeastern, when we went to North Rift, there has been a renewed passion among the chiefs and the OCSs in different parts of the country who are carrying out serious enforcement. Only yesterday, the day before yesterday, a chief from Kerio Valley sub-county in Mokora location, and the chiefs and the police officers went uprooting cannabis sativa that is planted along Kerio Valley along River Kerio, because that area had been controlled by bandits for a long period of time. So what they used to do is to control the place and then plant cannabis sativa. And you cannot imagine, trucks, the amount of bang that was uprooted can fit into a number of lorries, planted, growing, very beautiful. Yeah, and I cannot believe that it was planted for purpose of only local consumption. And I have asked the relevant institutions to work on it. There must be persons who are buying and supplying it in urban areas like Kapsawar, Iten, Eldoret, Kapsabet. So the notion that we always have that the drugs that we have are transited from other countries, especially cannabis sativa, may actually be debunked if we look at these areas where insecurity is very high. Inside there, they are planting these, and I dare say that it includes my ward in Embobut, because of those insecurity areas, again, they plant those, and I saw my chief also again from Embobut with the police officers trying to uproot the same plants. And if you want to know that they take it is extremely important to these criminals, as soon as the chief did that in Mokoro location, they went to our farm and slashed all our mangoes that she had planted over a long period of time. And I've told the chief to continue. We will see how to support her, to compensate the suffering they are going through. But we must continue this exercise. And we'll only achieve it if the lowest unit is motivated and ready to do the job, and they receive the highest support from the national level. Sadly, we also have collaboration from the police officer, from some chiefs, from government officials. And that was the case in Kitale. When we went to Kitale 2 days ago, we established that there is a lot of incestuous relationship between government officials and these drug cartels. So we have to work. We are going to sack people. We have started sacking them, and they will go to court. Any chief, any police officer, any OCS whose jurisdiction is a drug haven will be dealt with according to the law. They will not be transferred. They will be removed from service. Those who are committing these acts will also be prosecuted accordingly. Therefore, I'm very happy with this renewed energy, our plan is to ensure that there is enhanced intelligence-led enforcement that is targeting particular areas. And we have also established, thanks to Jukwaa Usalama, that drugs are more prevalent around colleges and universities. So areas that have, we have colleges and universities will now be our areas of focus, and we must work together to make sure that we deal with so towns like, as I said, towns like all the county headquarters. If you go to Kitale, for example, they may not have a university, but they have Kitale Polytechnic with 16,000 students, and then other colleges around there. Eldoret is an area of new target because of the enhanced number of students there. Kisumu, of course, Nairobi, Mombasa, and other towns become, they are targeted, especially because young people around there. And this is something we must do together for the sake of our children and for the sake of our future. Secondly, on community engagement and administration, our administrative structures are the bedrock of our government. Our national government administration officers work closely with the people and understand the local dynamics of substance abuse. I'm happy to know that the policy reinforces their role in public awareness campaigns, community-based prevention initiatives, and identification of at-risk individuals and areas. We will empower our administrators with the necessary training and resources to lead community dialogue, establish local multi-sectoral committees, and engage stakeholders in implementation of various interventions in the community. In fact, we will be rewarding administrators who do a good job and officers, either with promotions or state recognition. because this is a very important exercise that must be done across the country. Thirdly, on border security and control, Kenya's strategic geographical location makes us vulnerable to the transit of illicit drugs. Our ministry will strengthen border controls, enhance surveillance of our ports of entry, and invest in advanced detection technologies to intercept drugs and precursor chemicals. We will continue to collaborate with regional and international partners to combat transnational organized crime networks involved in drug trafficking, and recognizing that this is a global fight that requires global solidarity. You know that in the operations that we are doing in Marsabit, we have netted a lot of drugs, heroin, cocaine, cannabis sativa, and of course, human trafficking. The operation Malisa Walivo also has unearthed some of these organized crime networks. Our vulnerability is as a result of our porous border, and also because of the challenges that neighbors are facing both in South Sudan, Ethiopia, Somalia, and even parts of Uganda, makes it very difficult for us to deal with this issue. In fact, I was surprised that Kitale is the leading county in terms of presence of these adulterated alcohol and drugs as a result of our proximity to the border and controlled border. And therefore, we want to enhance this control of our borders. External threats, the external threats that we face as a nation includes this issue of drug trafficking. Fourthly, on rehabilitation and reintegration support, while our primary focus is prevention and enforcement, we will also recognize the profound need for rehabilitation and reintegration. The ministry will continue to support efforts to ensure that individuals struggling with addiction are not only rehabilitated, but are integrated back to society as productive citizens. Our correctional facilities will play a role in rehabilitation programs for those within the justice system. And to support this rehabilitation program and also the fight against this menace, I think we need, I will be engaging the Asset Recovery Agency to see how best we can also make it more punitive, first of all, for those who are engaged in these acts, especially because they get very, very lenient fines. So maybe the best way is to take away the lorry, the car, the equipment, their businesses, their assets that they are built over time. And it's important for asset recovery to appreciate that the law on the proceeds of crimes and anti-money laundering law is not only focusing on corruption. It also focuses on all crimes, all proceeds of all crimes, properly defined in the same law. And we'll be engaging the Asset Recovery Agency to see how best this can be done and make it more punitive. Of course, in some cases, even when we have arrested some of these drug traffickers along Isiolo Road, some of them leave the vehicles and run away. But it's important to target the big men and women within the country. I've realized from the Jukwaa la Usalama and the OCS is telling us that the many calls, you see these political leaders who come to us and say, oh, the certain OCS is not doing a good job. OCS and so is fighting me. OCS so-and-so is not supporting government. We only discover later that it has nothing to do with government. These are people who are selling adulterated alcohol. They are supplying these dangerous cheap sachets. And so when the police officers take very serious stand, they camouflage and come back either as government supporters or as people who are interested in the well-being of their voters, only to realize later that these are the serious business, in quotes, men and women. So if we seize these assets and we sell them, then we can get money to build rehabilitation centers. Yeah, some of the money proceeds from their account can be returned to build rehabilitation centers, do awareness, deal with victims, and so forth. And this is an important. The other issue that we must deal with is I have told our county, regional and county commissioners to work with the court, through the court use association, to raise greater awareness with the magistrates and the judges they work with at the local level. The problem we have now is these lenient fines, this problem of insisting on certain level of evidence. It's important to have evidence, but there should be, maybe we need to look at the penal code and see whether there can be presumption, certain presumptions that can be, that for as long as you don't have a certificate to manufacture certain alcohol, it is presumed that it is illicit unless you prove otherwise. Instead of telling the police officer, bring a certificate from the government chemist to show that this is changa. You know, I was in Kitale 2 days ago, and the OCSs are saying, no, it was a chief and the ACCs. Hii ni changa, tumeona ni changa. Hata vile imepigwa vibaya. Iko na nguo ya ndani huko ndani, sijui nini. And then unaambiwa na magistrate, okay, sorry, we are releasing the guy, we cannot proceed until you bring a certificate from the what do you call, the government chemist, indicating that this is changa. So, you know, especially, I know there are many lawyers here, we understand issues of evidence and so forth, but just imagine that chief being told, you look for government chemist in Kisumu from Kitale to go and test cannabis sativa. Anakuambia hii ni bangi jameni. Wewe magistrate uoni ni bangi. So, we have to find other ways of ensuring that this is we achieve the level of enforcement that we want, and the judiciary is very important. In the amendments to the law, we need to discuss and see how maybe the penal code and other legislation can be amended to make it easy. And these are things you only get to know if you go and interact with these people, and that's why I'm telling you, Jukwaa la Usalama has been exceptional in terms of helping us appreciate the real challenges. For example, in Makwiny, there is this assistant county commissioner who told us they arrested somebody with bags of cannabis sativa, took them to court, and then he admitted in court that, oh, sorry, I'm sorry, this was my first time. Then he was sentenced to community service and then released to come and do some community work around where the compound of the assistant county commissioner. So wananchi are passing and they say, sini ule jamaa ndi ule wa bangi. Kwani county anapigia chakula county commissioner siku hizi. So people cannot understand, and some of them come back, you know. In fact, I was told in Baringo that some are arrested and then they are fined 1 million shillings, and they can afford to pay 1 million and come back. So it means it must be very lucrative business. You find 1 million, they come back, they continue. So the only deterrent factor here is to seize their assets and to perhaps make sure that we close their accounts. Then people will start feeling that this thing is very serious. And I think that's where we should go, Bwana CEO, and help us, we work together. I have said too many things, and I'm the one who was saying I'm in a hurry. But it's because this subject is extremely important for us, we must be able to deal with it together. So as I close, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to reiterate that alcohol and drug abuse is a shared challenge. The implementation of this policy is therefore a shared responsibility. It calls for synergy among all stakeholders, national government, county government, civil society, faith-based organization, the private sector, and indeed every Kenyan. We must forge a united front driven by a common purpose to protect our children, empower our youth, and restore the dignity and potential of those ensnared by addiction. I think the report that comes from Jukwaa la Usalama, because we have been with the CEO throughout, we should find ways of using the report to improve on the amendments. And I think, Mr. Laboso, you should join us in the remaining 25 counties. Then it will help. Apart from the IG, we've been going with the IG or DIG, but your presence is very important because you are the unit established to do that very important task. And then we can see how to tighten this issue. We also need to strengthen, we have said we will strengthen your department to make sure that it has national coverage so that then they can work together with other DCI officers and police officers. Thank you very much. Please be seated to make sure that this issue is dealt with. So our ministry is fully committed to translating the aspirations of this policy into tangible results on the ground. We will dedicate the necessary resources, deploy our personnel strategically, and work tirelessly to ensure that our communities are safe, drug-free, and conducive to growth and development. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana, and may God bless you.
Thank you very much, Waziri. Let's give Waziri a round of applause. Moja, mbili, tatu, nne. Thank you. Vice Chair, let's make your way to the launch.
Thank you. So we are now at the launch of the policy, and we welcome Waziri and our board chair to help us in launching the policy. So I now declare the policy officially launched.
It's heated, eh?
All right.
Let's give Waziri a round of applause.
The CEO and the Vice Chair. The Vice Chair. And then for the CEO. The CEO. Chairman, yes, a copy. Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay. So then, the one what is the goal? That's one of the you don't understand. We collect on the stand. Let's go to the very important part. The other stakeholders. One of you can yes. Everyone is ready? Nataka tuoneshe hivi ama one more person this way. Yes. I used to be a camera. Okay. Now, thank you, sir. Chairman. No bother, please. Thank you very much. So,
Asante.
Okay. Asante.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Asanteni sana. Good job.
Thank you.
Chemba.